Geothermal Geophone Prize webinar. And this is for phase 1, or the concept phase, which is an informational webinar, so you can learn everything that you need to know about the Geothermal Geophone Prize and how you can apply. We're really excited you're here, and we will just jump right in. So my name is Lisa Trope. I am a prize administrator with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, or also known as NREL. This means I support recruitment for the prize, all administrative tasks, as well as supporting teams throughout the prize timeline. And also I am joined today by Zach Frone. He is a project manager for the Geothermal Technologies Office, also known as GTO, who will also be giving us a background on geophone technology. And GTO and NREL are working in collaboration on this prize. So to go over a quick agenda, we will be reviewing Americanmade and what we are all about. We'll be going over the Geophone Prize and also a background on geophone technology. We also will be going through the submission element. So as a team, if you're considering applying for this prize, we'll be able to go through each element you'll need to submit to be able to apply. We'll also be discussing support that you can find through the Americanmade network as a team throughout your process of applying for this prize. And then lastly, we'll go through how you can apply for the prize on our website, HeroX, and discuss next steps, and then also leave time at the end for a Q&A. So a bit of housekeeping. This webinar will be recorded on HeroX, which we'll be talking about in a little bit, so you can feel free to reference it at any time. And there will be a Q&A at the end of the presentation, as I mentioned. To submit a question for the Q&A, you can do so on the right-hand side of your screen. There should be a little box right next to the chat box, so feel free to open that up and drop any questions that you have there. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll go through and answer them. If for some reason you're having trouble finding that Q&A box, you can drop your questions in the chat and we will get to them. But we really encourage you to, if you can, find that Q&A box and make sure you place your questions there. And then if you're having any technical issues, feel free to please check your audio settings under the audio tab. And if you're continuing to have issues, you can direct message Jackie, who's on this call today. She is our NRL staff lead, and she would be happy to support you in working through any technical issues. So what is the Americanmade Challenges Program? The Americanmade Challenges Program currently represents more than 10 offices within the US Department of Energy, 200 plus organizations, and 100 million in cash prizes. This program supports 30 plus unique prize challenges everywhere from solar to water to geothermal, and the list goes on. So we work in a number of different fields around clean tech and clean energy. The foundation of Americanmade challenges are the prizes that we facilitate, while also creating partnerships that connect entrepreneurs to the private sector and the US Department of Energy National Laboratories. And thanks to rapid timelines and goals, prizes fast track product development from years to months. And this truly allows for rapid innovation cycles. We do our very best to connect expertise with resources and funds, and put funds in the hands of innovators as quickly as we possibly can. So we often get the question, how is this different than a government grant process? And essentially, the prize funding model shortens and reverses the typical grant process. So you can see the grant process above. You will write and submit a concept paper, I won't read the whole thing, but full application review. Then from there, begin performing, prepare and submit reimbursement requests, and the request review, and then reimbursement is issued. In the prize award process, you begin performing immediately and then submit a completed submission package, which is scored, and winners then receive payment. And something to note is that with the prize award model, once you win, there are no performance deliverables tied to the cash award you receive. Of course, we do hope that you use the money to advance your innovations. However, it's ultimately up to you how you decide to spend those funds. So we will jump into talking a little bit about phase one of this prize, which is also called concept or phase one concept. But first, I'd love to give you a bigger picture overview of what this prize is all about. So what is the Geophone prize? The Geophone prize is 3.65 million in prize competition, and it consists of 3 phases. Phase 1, which is the concept phase, phase 2, make, and phase 3, build. And besides this cash and voucher prize competition, we also have the support from a national network, also known as the Americanmade network, where teams throughout their process of applying for the prize can receive support on their innovations. And now I'll take a moment to hand it over to Zach, who's going to give you an overview of the current and future vision of technology with seismic monitoring for enhanced geothermal systems. So Zach, I will turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Lisa. So first, as kind of a realize that not everyone in here may be fully versed in what our office, what the Geothermal Technology Office does. So I am in the Enhanced Geothermal Systems sub-program. So what are Enhanced Geothermal Systems, or EGS? There are systems used where we produce power from hot impermeable rocks in the subsurface. So to do this, the kind of high level view of what our technology is to drill wells and then create fracture networks between wells to allow for the flow of water in the subsurface to extract heat to the surface, which can then be used to produce electricity. So EGS has a pretty massive potential resource base as determined by USGS and others, while also having a significantly smaller surface footprint than other conventionals and renewable energy systems. So it's kind of one of our things we like to highlight about EGS. So with that, I'll go to the next slide. All right, so why seismic monitoring, and specifically why high temperature seismic monitoring? So seismic monitoring is kind of a critical component in the development and the life cycle of EGS. During the system development, monitoring is used to map out the fracture growth in between wells or from specific wells. During the lifetime of the system, monitoring can be used to monitor the flow system and determine how the fracture system may be evolving with time. And at all periods of the system's lifetime, seismic monitoring is needed to make sure there's no indication for any larger seismic hazards. So monitor for kind of any fault movement and that kind of stuff that may lead to changes in the production life cycle. So while we already have some downhole seismic tools on the market, these things exist and are used routinely in oil and gas and geothermal. The downhole conditions in EGS and other geothermal fields pose additional environmental constraints on these tools, mainly being high temperatures. So basically what this is showing here is an example from Utah Forge, which is a GTO-sponsored project in central Utah, where there are a number of deep monitoring wells here that all have bottom hole temperatures of at least 200 degrees C or about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And these conditions are a major challenge for the currently available commercial seismic monitoring tools. Next slide, please. And so, as I said, there are currently available tools, seismic tools for lower temperatures, and these can be used at shallower depths. This puts the monitoring equipment at a much greater distance away from the actual stimulation or fracturing activities, which results in lower sensitivity and larger location errors, especially in depth. Because your monitoring is only on one side of the events. It's hard to determine an accurate depth for these events. So really to get to kind of the next level of seismic monitoring in EGS, we need to be able to get these tools deeper and closer to the actual events themselves, which means they need to survive at higher temperatures. Next slide, please. Thank you. So yeah, to kind of enable this next level of monitoring, we've put together this kind of list of performance goals that we're hoping to achieve with this Geophone prize. While some of these can be a bit flexible, namely some of the specifications on the recording tools themselves, there are some that all specifications need to be met to be eligible for the prize, and that is namely the top two on this list. They need to meet the stated temperature survivability goals, as well as be 3-component systems, or something that can record at least 3 components of seismic waves, so we can actually use these for good relocations. And other than that, the rest of these, we can answer any questions that you have later on any of the other specifications here. But with that, I will turn this back over to Lisa for the rest of the webinar.
Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate that overview. And of course, we'll be answering questions at the end as well. Sorry to hear there might be a little bit of blurriness, it looks like, in the slides. Our apologies for that. We will be sure to make sure that you get all the information you need after this if you can't read the slides clearly. So our apologies on not being as clear as we were hoping. But hopefully clear enough that you can read, and also I will be chatting about each slide further as well. So with that, what is the goal of phase 1? Participants will need to demonstrate that they have identified and developed an initial concept for a high temperature downhole seismic sensor that utilizes currently available components or prototype currently under development. So teams will need to propose a path to design, a prototype, and a test of proof of concept. Next slide, thanks. So with this, there are 3 phases for the Geothermal Geophone prize, and it comprises of 2.55 million in cash prizes and 1.1 million in vouchers. So as you can see, phase 1 is for concept and feasibility development. Phase 2 is for design and proof of concept. And then phase 3 is to create your prototype and test it. So for phase 1, there will be up to 8 winners who will each receive $75,000 in cash and $75,000 in laboratory vouchers, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. I'll give you more details on that. And winners then will be eligible to also compete in phase 2 and phase 3 of the prize. And just briefly, for phase 2, winners will also receive $250,000 in cash and $100,000 in vouchers. And for phase 3, up to 2 winners will win $350,000 in cash, and also have the option to work with the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory to conduct field testing of their prototype sensor. But for today, we are just going to be focusing on phase 1, but I did want to give you a kind of a bigger picture overview of where this prize is headed. Next slide. So we will jump into discussing some of the submission elements for phase 1. Before we do so, we do want to emphasize that the rules have all the information that you need to be able to successfully apply for this prize. We ask that you please read them carefully. They can be found under the resources tab on the Geophone HeroX page. So if you go to herox.com/Geophone prize and go to the resources tab, you can find the rules there. And we're going to be going over a lot of the information that are found in the rules during this webinar today, but we do really suggest that you also review those carefully and make sure that you're eligible and so on for this prize, and that you're making sure that you're applying correctly. So some eligibility requirements: you can be a private entity, non-federal government entity, an academic institution, or an individual. And there's also a number of criteria for being an individual that you must be eligible to be able to apply for this prize. This is a brief overview, but again, please be sure to review the rules carefully to be sure that you're eligible to apply for this prize. And next slide. So ultimately, who are we looking for? Bigger picture, any US-based individual or team with a desire to transform ideas into impactful new solutions. So if you want to compete, we really highly encourage you to do so. We're looking for those that have a big idea in the geothermal seismic sensoring field. So whether you're a scientist, a student, an entrepreneur, or really anyone with a big idea, we really, really do want to hear from you, and we really encourage you to apply. Again, some advantages to competing include winning increasingly significant cash prizes, also being able to receive vouchers to access expertise at national laboratories and private organizations, and also receiving access to a network of organizations really truly motivated to provide mentorship and connection to teams and to support them throughout their process. So some important dates to note: we did officially launch this prize on Earth Day, April 22nd, 2022. And our deadline for this prize, the last day that you can apply, is September 29th, 2022. So please be sure to submit your application by then. Then we will have a panel of expert reviewers who are subject matter experts in this field, who over the next few months will be able to review applications. And from here, our anticipated date of being able to announce winners will be December 1st, 2022. So now to finally get to the submission package. This is an overview, excuse me. Just getting over a cold here. This is an overview of what you'll need to submit. So you will need to have a cover page, up to a 90-second video, one PowerPoint slide, a summary slide, a technical assistant request, a technical narrative about the innovation, as well as optional, a letter of commitment or support. And we'll review each one of these now. So first, a cover page. This is required. It is not scored, meaning that expert reviewers will not be scoring it when they review your application, but it is public. So you want to list some basic information, so project name, up to a 90-second video online, which will talk about keywords, your city and state, the connectors that you work with, which we'll also discuss, and any other partners. So this is a bigger picture overview of what your team is about and what your innovation will be about. So also, you'll need to submit a summary slide. This is required. It will be scored by expert reviewers. And it also is public, meaning that anyone who goes onto the HeroX site after the submission deadline is closed will be able to see the slide. You want to make it public facing, one slide, and have it be technically specific, but be sure that it can be understood by most people. There's no template, so feel free to present the information as you see fit. And then also just be sure to make any text readable in a standard printout and conference room projection. Again, all of this information can be found in the rules. We want to make sure to go through it step by step as well during the informational webinar today. So next, you will need to also submit a voucher work slide. This voucher work slide is required. It is not going to be scored by expert reviewers, and it's also public. So what is a voucher? I know we've mentioned a few times already. Vouchers allow winners for phase 1 and phase 2 to access tools, equipment, and expertise at national laboratories and approved organizations and facilities. And these vouchers support the development of testing and validation of your solutions. So as we mentioned, phase 1 concept winners will receive a $75,000 voucher. And phase 2 make winners will receive a $100,000 voucher. So in the slide, you want to be describing how you will use your voucher funds
including the entities you plan to engage and what they will do with the voucher funds. And we asked to provide one slide per entity that you plan to engage. And also something to note is we do have guidelines on this process as well under the resources tab on HeroX, so you can get all the information you need on vouchers. So next, we also ask you to submit a video. This is required, scored, and also public. And the question for this is, what is your public innovation? So as you can see here, there's some suggested content, and also it's required that your video is publicly online and also does not exceed 90 seconds. So something to note is the Americanmade network may be able to help you with creating your video, which we'll talk about the network in a little bit and how they can support you. And also something to note here is this is really your first impression. So be sure to be creative and focus on content. And you can also watch previous winners' videos online on Americanmade Challenges, our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search Americanmade Challenges, you can also watch other winners from other prizes videos to get an idea of what that might look like. Next slide. So now kind of to the meat of this application, your technical narrative. This is required. It is also scored, but it is not public. So it will not be able to be publicly seen on the HeroX site. And in your technical narrative, there will be 3 questions for you to answer. Again, this information can all be found in the rules, but the content bullets are organized with suggested content to guide your responses, but ultimately you can decide where to focus your answers. The individual answers to the 3 questions do not have a word limit. However, the aggregate response to these 3 questions must be less than or equal to 2,500 words. You may also include up to 10 supporting images, so figures, tables, or graphs, but these will not count against the word limit. So the first question to respond to is, what is your solution? How will you determine whether your solution has achieved success? And as you can see, there's this suggested content on the left. And then also on the right, each statement is scored on a scale from 1 to 6. And there's the bullet points below that to see where the expert reviewers will be scoring you from that scale of 1 to 6. So of course, remember your audience, which are the expert reviewers in this field. Be specific and just be sure to overall with the 3 questions, pay attention to your word count. Next slide. Thank you. So the second question is, why is this the right team to solve this problem? And what expertise is lacking and how will it be addressed? So again, this is a required section. It will be scored, but it is not public. So you can see here on the left, there's suggested content you can provide, while on the right, each statement is scored on a scale to 1 to 6. And again, each part of this submission element can be found in the rules as well under the resources tab. So question 3, what is your plan to achieve your goal? Again, this is required and scored, but not public. And as you can see, there's this suggested content you can provide on the left, and also each statement scored from a scale to 1 to 6 on the right, and what expert reviewers will be focusing on when they will review your application. So something to note as well is there are special instructions for questions 1 and 3. So we ask that you only use specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely SMART goals, outcome-based goals. So for example, be sure to demonstrate a definitive achievement of progress, achieve X% efficiency for X letters of interest signed. Please do not describe how you spent your time. And please see rules for the rest of the guidelines for your SMART goals. Something to note with this as well is the Americanmade network, which is here to support you, may be able to also help you formulate your SMART goals. And then finally, the letter of support is optional, so it is not required. It's also not public, but we do encourage you to attach a 1-page letter of support from relevant entities to provide context. So letter of support from partners, others that are critical to the success of your proposed solution. And we do ask that you limit letters of support to 1 page each. Letters of support that are general or not critical to the execution of your solution will likely not factor into your score. But we do ask that this is optional, but that you can submit letters of support that are critical to the success of your proposed solution, and this can support your score as well. So how do we score? For scoring, the prize administrator, which is myself, will screen all completed submissions, and in consultation with the Department of Energy will assign completed submission to a qualified panel of expert reviewers composed of subject matter experts. And expert reviewers will sign a non-disclosure agreement. So with scoring, each review criteria bullet from the technical narrative that you saw on that right-hand side, when we went through the 3 questions, has equal weight. So the score from an individual reviewer for the technical narrative will be the total sum of the scores of all the bullet points. And all reviewers' scores will then be averaged for a final score for the submission package. And then final determination of winners, the director of the Geothermal Technologies Office, or GTO, is the judge of the competition and will make the final determination of winners, taking into account a number of taking into account reviewer scores, interview findings, and any program policy factors as well. So how can you find support? One great thing about the prize model is that you receive support throughout the process of applying for each prize, which we'll discuss now. So as I mentioned, the Americanmade Challenges program includes prizes that incentivize and accelerate new possibilities, and also a network of partners and resources to support teams through the prize submission process. So what is the Americanmade Network that you've heard a number of times throughout this presentation? The Americanmade Network is comprised of 250 plus organizations called connectors, who help identify competitors for the prizes and then also support them as they refine their innovations and their submission packages. So the network is growing rapidly with connectors across the country, and they can support you and your team with technical support, business support, financial support, and the list goes on. So they're really here to support teams throughout the process of filling out and completing their submission package. And so, as I mentioned, connectors help innovators succeed in prize challenges. Connectors help competitors with activities such as facilitating connections to design and prototyping experts or facilities, as well as mentors and relevant industry partners, providing in-kind resources, tools, and facilities to fabricate, test, and prototype high-temperature seismometer solutions. So they're really here to support you as an innovator or as a team in applying for this prize. And to make this process easier for both competitors and connectors, we created a new network matching tool that helps connect innovators and network members. So you can see here, this helps innovators increase the quality and speed of matches and really bridges the gap between what innovators need and what connectors offer, and also helps network members. So access new clients and business development opportunities, understand the need and challenges of innovators. And it helps all parties overall improve the utilization of program incentives and also under other benefits. So how do I find and connect with a connector? As I mentioned, through the network matching tool, what you can do is you will set up a profile and specify what your needs are as an innovator or team. From here, you'll be able to review a list of connectors who may be able to support you with your technical needs or otherwise, and you'll have the opportunity through this tool to connect with them directly. So you can find the network matching tool at network.americanmadechallenges.org. And something that's really important to note is that connectors are rewarded for supporting teams. So please be sure to include connectors you worked with closely on your application. There will be a spot on the application for you to include their information. As you can see here, there is a pool for phase one of 40,000, and that's 5,000 per competitor. So this is distributed to connectors, organizations, businesses, or otherwise for recruiting or mentoring a winning competitor in phase one. So please be sure to note them on your application when you do apply. And if you're looking for even more support, you can also connect with a power connector. Power connectors are a select group of organizations contracted to help with specific tasks for specific prizes. So power connectors are different than connectors in that they specifically are contracted out to work with the American-Made Challenges program. And so for this prize, we're really excited to be working with the Clean Energy Business Network, or CEBN. CEBN works to grow the clean energy economy through policy, public education, and business support for energy companies. And the CEBN's reach spans 6,000 plus clean energy professionals across the US and internationally, primarily representing small and medium-sized energy companies. So CBN will be also producing a webinar on the state of the art in geophone technology and also promoting teaming opportunities. So if you're an individual that is interested in this prize and you want to possibly join a team, they'll be running this event in July, and we'll be sure to update on HeroX about it. And also CBN will be offering application review. So as you can see, the great team here, as well as their website and contact information, email is cebn@cebn.org. So feel free to connect with them directly for more support. So how to apply on HeroX, now that you know what the submission elements are and how you can also be supported throughout the process, let's review how you can also apply on HeroX. So you're going to want to go to herox.com/geophone prize and click on solve this challenge, the big button on the right. Then from here, you'll have a pop-up that you can see on the left, and you will click accept. And then you can decide if you want to either create a team, join a team, or compete as an individual. So if you're an individual who wants to join a team, you can reach out to a team captain directly through HeroX to join. Also, however, when you add your information to HeroX, you can post what your expertise is in as an individual, and that you're also looking to join a team, and that will be made public for other individuals and team members to be able to see. Then lastly, once you have gone through that process, it just takes a few minutes, you'll be able to begin entry and begin the submission process, which includes all of the submission elements we just discussed previously. And again, the due date for that is September 29th, 2022. So be sure to start soon and get your application in before that deadline. And then finally, just big picture overview, next steps. Please be sure to follow the challenge on HeroX if you're not already following it. We do post regular updates on HeroX where you can be kept up to date on everything happening with the prize or any information that you might need to know. Again, as I know I've mentioned many times, be sure to read the rules. We went through a number of the elements of the rules through this webinar today, but it is best that you also read them in detail. And then do make sure to sign up for the matching tool and connect with connectors in our network to be able to receive support throughout this process, or be sure to connect with CBN, our power connector, to also receive more support. And then of course, start innovating. We're really excited to see what ends up coming to fruition from this prize and see your great innovations. And then again, lastly, just be sure to apply by September 29th, 2022. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time today. We are going to open it up for questions. Just to let you know as well, our email address is geophoneprize@nrel.gov, so that I will be directly responding to any emails coming in there, and feel free to reach out anytime with any questions or any support you might need throughout this process. So I will now open it up and we can get to some Q&A as well.
Great, Lisa. We have a couple questions already submitted, so I'll just start going through those, and you and Zach and Sarah can chime in with your answers. So the first question just asks if the recording of this webinar and the slides will be available after today's presentation.
Yes, so we will be posting the recording to this webinar on the HeroX site. So you'll be able to access this anytime after today.
Thanks. Next question asks, is the American-Made program a government entity, a nonprofit, or a private company?
So the American-Made program is in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Energy. So we work directly with the U.S. Department of Energy to be able to support clean energy and clean efficiency at research and development. So the American-Made Challenges program works in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Energy to be able to launch these prize programs and also network support. And hopefully that answers it.
Great, thank you. Sarah, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I would just say out of those three categories, it's a government program, so a government entity.
Great, thanks. We had a question that asked if international students can apply with faculty.
That's a great question. I would suggest looking at the eligibility requirements and the rules. They're pretty extensive, but just reviewing them to make sure that you are eligible. And then of course, follow up with us accordingly if that is not clear. But there's a good page and a half of eligibility requirements. So just be sure to review those to make sure that you are eligible. And then of course, follow up if it's still unclear.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, next question. How do you prevent conflict of interest with the reviewers who review submissions?
Great question. So expert reviewers are not allowed to have any kind of financial or familial connections with any aspects of this prize. So we do our best to make sure that there is not conflict of interest by really vetting our expert reviewers and making sure that there isn't any kind of conflict of interest in that way. So financially or otherwise, or having some kind of connections with applicants, if that makes sense. But Sarah, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll say expert reviewers are all required to sign an NDA when they sign up to be a reviewer. And then we do go through a formal training with all of the expert reviewers where we outline what we define as a conflict of interest. Once they get the list of submissions that they'll be reviewing, if any of them come up as a conflict of interest, those reviewers will inform us and we will take them off that submission and make sure they are not a reviewer for that submission.
Great, thank you. Next question asks if the government receives any special rights to the IP developed during the prize.
I do not believe so, but Sarah, do you want to make, I want to check in. Sarah's been with NREL much longer than I have, so I was just checking with her as well. So
that's correct. We don't take any of the IP developed under this prize. There's a section on that in the rules as well. However, if you elect to use your voucher at a national lab, you will be required to enter into a cooperative research agreement. And so any IP developed jointly under the voucher work may have special circumstances, but you'll see all of that language in that contract. But anything under the prize remains yours.
Perfect, thank you. We have a couple of questions regarding the application and submission elements. One thing that Lynn had raised in the comments or in the chat was that a common question they see is whether a graphic that contains multiple images in one photo, if that counts as one image or multiple images.
I believe that would count as one image. Just one image, even if there's multiple photos within that image, and then the rules will have more details, but that does not impact your word count, but if there's multiple photos within one image, it still counts as one.
And I would just caveat that with use your best discretion. I mean, obviously, please don't give us a scrapbook of every stage of your development. Just kind of be mindful with the images that you put in there.
Thanks. We had a question about how competitors move from phase 1 to phase 2, and if there's a separate application process for that.
So the way that applicants move from phase 1 to phase 2 is if they're awarded as a winning team for phase 1. There is also an opportunity for individuals and teams to also apply in phase 2 and not participate in phase 1. So both, you can do either. And then for phase 2, there will be another process and submission elements that will need to be submitted for phase 2. And let me know if that answers your question, but I can also share more.
I think that does, but Jamie, if you have additional questions around that, feel free to submit those. Let's see, we have a question that asks if the prize is limited to just Geophone's sensor-based solutions, or if other sensor technologies can be submitted. For example, this person wrote the MEMS-based seismic acquisition solutions.
I'll take that one. Yeah. Basically, any sort of sensor solution that that your team wants to come up with, as long as it can meet the requirements, we're open to it. Whether that's Geophone, MEMS system, some sort of fiber optics, some other solution that I'm not aware of. Any of those are eligible.
Thanks, Zach. Can affiliates of the national labs compete?
Affiliates of affiliates of national labs can compete in this prize, but just not non-federal or federal. Any federal employees are not allowed to apply to this prize, but you can apply as a part of a national lab.
Great. Next question asks if American-made or associated connectors can provide any help on researching what sort of high temperature geophone connectors already exist, or what designs would be considered redundant. So Lisa, let me know if you want me to reread that question.
Yeah, can you reread that one more time?
Yeah, so I think this person, Andy, is looking for some help from the connectors in the American-made network around providing help on researching high temp geophone connectors. So I think they're just looking for maybe some specific help and wondering if any of the connectors are maybe more have a deeper level of expertise in some of those geophone topics. And Andy, feel free to type in if I'm misunderstanding your question.
Yeah, so we have 250 plus connectors across the country, and they all have a number of different expertise. So what I would suggest doing is just going to that network matching tool, putting in what you're looking for into that tool, and then from there you'll be able to see which connectors would be best supportive in that research. So that's what I would suggest doing. I unfortunately don't know all the details of every connector we work with, but a number of our connectors do have resources and tools and expertise in the different prizes that we're working in.
Great. And Andy wrote back in saying basically what help already exists out there in the American-made network on this topic. And Lisa, I think you covered that. And I also would just flag that both Lynn and Annabelle from the Clean Energy Business Network, who which is the main power connector for this prize, they put a couple of resources in the chat. So I recommend scrolling through and finding those, and they're prepared to help make some of those connections based on what you're specifically looking for.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie.
Yeah. Another question came in. Are there good references to read on current state of technology?
I'll
Zach,
turn
you
the
might,
back.
yeah.
I think we can maybe get a list of some references together and potentially post that on HeroX. I think there's a way to do that at least. So we can post something there.
Great, thank you. Yes, again, for updates with HeroX, if you're following the prize, which is really easy to do, then whenever we post an update, so we can post some materials and such there, you will receive a notification on the email address that you are following the prize with.
Thanks. Next question, is a change of affiliation allowed between phase 1 and phase 2?
That's a great question. I think, Sarah, do you know the answer to that question?
I would say check the rules document for all of the details, but typically we require that the team captain remain the same between phase 1 and phase 2, and typically the entity tied to that team captain. If there needs to be a case-by-case exception made, we can help look at that.
Thank you, Sarah. And just to note, I know Sarah was just joined us right at 11, but she's also a prize administrator with National Renewable Energy Lab. And I am new to the team at NRAL, which I'm very excited about, but Sarah has been around for a while. And so, yeah, thanks, Sarah, for answering that.
All right, we have another more technical question. So Zach, I think this one might be for you. Is there an interest in methods that keep current type sensors cool as a means of making them work at the higher temperatures?
Yeah, I believe that that's definitely a possibility, as long as they can function for, kind of the time durations that were noted on the specifications table. I don't see why that wouldn't be a possible solution.
Thanks, Zach. I will say it looks like we have a couple questions around some very specific concerns with the prize rules or the format, eligibility requirements, etc. So if you have a question that's more specific about your situation, we encourage you to either thoroughly review the rules. I mean, you should obviously review the rules pretty closely regardless, but if the rules don't answer your specific question, you could reach out to the Geophone prize at nrel.gov email address. We do monitor that email pretty closely, so we're happy to give a more detailed answer to any specific scenarios that you want to raise.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We have a couple minutes left, so I just want to encourage, if anybody has remaining questions, feel free to submit those. Let's see, we just got a question that asks, there's 3 specific challenges with this technology. To give a couple examples. This is a long question, so I'm trying to determine how much of this to read. But I guess they're asking if the transducer itself, the fidelity and robustness of the signal connection downhole, and high frequencies and long transmission distances, if all 3 of these aspects are required to be solved in a proposed solution. And Zach, I think you have access to this question. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see, I don't have the table in front of me anymore, but we did note some specifications on the data transmission, I believe. But if I can also review this question offline and maybe provide a better response after the fact for you guys. I think that can also get posted as well.
Great. And I will just say, I know Lisa touched on it earlier, but the HeroX page has a public forum, which is a really great spot to post questions publicly if you are looking for feedback, not only from the competition organizers, but also from the community as well. Maybe if people have other thoughts that they want to add on. So maybe something like this would be a great question for the forum. All right, so I think we are going to go ahead. Oh, sorry, we have one more question I want to ask before we wrap this up. We did have a question, where's the best place to find previous winners? Obviously, this is the first time we're doing the Geophone prize, so not necessarily winners of the Geophone prize, but maybe looking at other submissions that have won in the past in the American-Made Challenges program.
Yeah, so if you go to americanmadechallenges.org, we have announced all of the winners and otherwise for different prizes. So of course, not specifically in geophones, but solar, wind, hydrogen, geothermal manufacturing, and so on. So definitely check out the American-Made Challenges website and you can review winners there. Also, our American-Made Challenges YouTube channel often has submission elements, like I mentioned, like those 90-second videos of winners of our previous prizes as well.
Thanks, Lisa. On that note, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. So Lisa, if you want to close us out and give any final reminders, that would be great.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. We really appreciate you taking the time and are really excited to see your innovations. So again, as I've mentioned many times, but can't mention enough, make sure to go to the HeroX website /Geophone prize and make sure to follow the prize. Also, be sure to review the rules in detail. So I know there was some specific questions, so be sure to review those rules and follow up with us accordingly with any questions that might come up. Also, be sure to connect with connectors through American-Made Network and also CEBN, our power connector on this prize. And then just, of course, lastly, apply by September 29th, 2022. We really look forward to seeing your innovations. Thank you so much to Zach with GTO for being here and Sarah. And we just really look forward to seeing what you come up with. This is a really new, exciting prize for GTO. And thanks for joining us today.